your light shine? Last week?
I don't know what page we're on,
Right.
unless it's
It
this
is.
other sheet there.
Go to your
Oh, that's
Let your light shine. We're gonna finish up in one with the, I guess we're on our way to the light. We're in the light.
How you doing?
Father in heaven, we thank you for
Hey,
the
James.
chance and blessing privilege to be in the house. Again, we thank you for the course of the day.
You talk to Josiah.
We ask, oh God, for your presence and your power. Most of all, we pray that you would touch all of us that are here. Help us, oh God, to be better and ready for you, that we do your work and you say, well done. We pray, oh God, any sick among us, we pray you heal us down. Ask, oh God, if anybody here has any challenge, we pray, oh God, you will do by your spirit. That you will be healing all the way through. Thank you, Lord, for all that it is and that it is. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen. All right. So last week,
Ethan, when?
we talked about the salt. We're closing the salt up. We're closing the salt up. We didn't get right. So we're closing the salt up. I think last week we looked at Isaiah. Then we were looking at Isaiah 59,
Well, I don't
I
have it.
believe it is. We had ran a reference of Isaiah 57 and 20, I'm sorry. So we're on the second page on this page. We still haven't got the light yet. We're still trying to close up the salt.
Oh,
Still closing up the salt.
but
Closing up the salt. All right, so top of the page, it says salt and crystals are needed, right? That's our Bible study, it says 1712, 2018. We clear on that? All right, then our reference we had last week, we didn't look at it. We're going from Matthew, our basis is coming from Matthew chapter 5, down in that part where he said, you are the light of the world, you are the salt of the world, and he said, you are the light. So we're still talking about the salt and crystal. So we looked at last week that first section which says is what is a salted Christian, and we looked at the mature Christian, someone who is a model, a what pace setter, someone who influences others in positive ways according to the biblical stage. But this big thing, here, take that. So that's what we're looking at. We're on page 2 of 3. It's 2 of 3. 2 of 3, right? 2 of 3. Right, so a mature Christian. So in order for us to be, so most people, what it's really referring to in that statement is that an immature Christian wouldn't see the value of giving out salt or being salty. Right or wrong? Individuals that are not concerned about other people. The purpose of Jesus doing this is so funny today. I listened to 99.5 when I'm in my car. And I heard 3 preachers yesterday talking about the same verse. The salt, the light, the salt, the light. And it kept coming on the radio over 99.5. So it must be some meaning to this, is that I was also talking to a preacher Sunday. And it kind of fits right here. Everybody in church is going through a great dilemma of this new wave coming through the church. And my revelation that I had is that we have adjusted our services so much to meet the need of people coming in that we actually have lost our sacred part of our church. Because we're so busy adjusting it, we're really adjusting it. And so I was thinking, Spirit said to me that we have to take our church back. Take our church back and be the church again. Because we shouldn't have every so many years to have to redo everything. I mean, we're talking about this new generation now. We're all off balance, to agree. We're trying to figure out, is the church too long, is it too short? Do they want to sing one hymn? Do they want to have praise team? They don't want to have no choir no more. They don't want to have no deacons. They want to have elders. The whole structure, but the Bible never changed. But we keep changing, trying to meet them. And I think the church needs to stay sacred. And the church needs to be church. A liquor store keeps selling liquor. They just change the kind of brand they sell based upon the population. But they don't restructure the whole store. You know, the main thing has to be the main thing. So my point is, if I'm getting this lesson, is that if we're salt, we're touching other individuals and we're bringing out the best in them that's already in them. Mm-hmm. Salt is touching something, again, we discovered, that's bringing out the best in them, but also we have to make sure that we're salty. Right. Meaning we have to make sure that we're not that salt that's open and stale. That makes sense? We have to be really vivacious. We have to have a lot of get up and go about ourselves. We can't be lazy. Because Jesus didn't have too much to do with lazy people in the Bible. You know, he blessed the crowd. You had John the Baptist over there. He kind of was not John the Baptist, but when you see John over there with Paul, we know that John Mark was kind of a mama's baby. You know, he wasn't no fighter. He ran around with Paul. Paul didn't really get along with him real well, but Barnabas brought him back in. So them kind of things. When you're salty, you're actually a leader, and you're actually a person that have a great concern about humanitarian. You have a great concern. Can't save the world, but everybody you come in contact with, you touch. In the grocery store, in the 7-Eleven. So we're not talking about true getting out evangelism or witnessing, but it's really simply saying whatever you are, just make sure you remain salty. Make sure you make it ready. You're always ready to give a testimony. The Bible tells us that when someone asks you, be ready to give a testimony, right? Tell the people what you tell them. I drive a truck and I've been married to the same woman for 55 years. It ain't been easy, but man, I'm hanging on in there. That's touching somebody else. That's being realistic. That's being rad. That's the reality of what it is, right? Oh man, I didn't make it in the first one, but if I knew then what I know now, I would do better. But tell you what, young brother, you need to go ahead and do X, Y, and Z. Or right now, I'm struggling with something right now, but you know what, that's natural, is you're struggling with that. But you go on and be about your father's business. You follow what I'm saying? So you're still giving them encouragement no matter where you are. But a lot of times we think that we have to reach the level of perfection to tell someone because we're a hypocrite. Well, I hate to tell you, everybody here in the room is a hypocrite. Because we're preaching a pure gospel and we're not pure ourselves. You understand? We're teaching a pure gospel. And so we're in some sense of the word, we haven't arrived at the level and where we should be or where the word is, but we're still telling the same story. Because we all have some kind of barriers, right? We all have something that we struggle with. We struggle with some old stuff, some new stuff, whatever kind of stuff we need. So to remain salty, which we simply saying, if you're going to be a disciple, just keep on being a disciple. Keep on being a disciple. Keep on being a church believer, a church goer. And I know the church is in you, right? But take your church to somebody else and make them a church. So we have to evangelize within your own area, which means that if it's good enough for you, it should be good enough to give to somebody else. If you're willing to die for it, you hear me? One man said, if you're willing to die for it, you got to help somebody else live with it. If it's willing for you to say, you know what, I ain't doing that. That's dying to yourself. That's dying to the things of this world, right? That's making you say, so why did you come? So why did you come tonight? I came here because I know I have a place in my life that needs to be better. Right? You're not coming here because you're going to be a scholar. I'm not giving out a certificate. Right? I'm not giving no graduate degrees to nobody. It'd be different. Like school does that. They make you come and get a certificate. But I'm not giving out certificates for graduation. I'm not giving out anything to anybody for you to walk out and be recognized. So it has to be for the self-help and self-learning of your own character building, right? And then also because we have a consciousness of it, because when you're salty, you do have some consciousness about yourself, and you do want to say, you know what? I did a survey, and my survey said that I don't match. Everybody say amen and say ouch. Right? I don't match with 2 or 2. So I don't match. So the thing about it is that because I'm salt, then now I have a consciousness of it, whatever level you are. So because the class is for everybody, it's not for the beginners and the intermediates and the experts. There's nobody here can go to an expert class. Because when you get there, you're not going to match it. Because you have to know everything, and no man knows it all. And then no man can do it all. So if we are supposed to be experts in it, then we shouldn't have a class. So he was telling his disciples that I want you to know, he declared it, that you are. He didn't ask them were you salt, he said you are. Why is that? Because you accepted him. And because we accepted him as our Savior, and the love we have for him, and we recognize that he is so good to all of us, and he's better to us than we can ever be to him. We can't return it. So in return, what do? You spread the news. And then if you're salt, touching other things, keeping it from rotting, helping that person to grow, and then you're adding to the team. Right or wrong, you're adding to the team, right? So now, if I got 15 neighbors, I don't know how many houses are on the street. How many houses on the street? You do about 25 to 30 on one side, approximately 19, 20. How long the block? Right, there you go. So you depend on how long the block is, so you kind of have an idea of how many houses. Let's say you had on your street 19 houses. You had a short block or a long block, depending on how big the houses are, right? And you decided that you go caravan just at one side. And each house had 9 people in it. So then we had 9 times 19. So think 20 times 9. Now you got 180 people that you will be in contact with. Imagine if 180 people just said, I want to be a Christian.
Wow.
Your neighborhood, and I'm going the other side, now you got 360. So now you can actually pull your car at night and take your alarm off of it. Right? You don't have to have all them bars. Right or wrong? You don't have to have all that because I'll be sweeping up the street like I see Dodie sweeping the street. She's sweeping all the way down Figueroa. Suppose everybody was cleaning up Figueroa. Suppose everybody was trying to take the trash out. When I was a kid, I used to get paid $1 a week taking people's trash out. And it was a good business. Because I learned something. Nobody would take their trash out on Sunday nights. So the little boy down the street, the ADHD kid, I took out trash for $1 a week. I made $4 a month on one person. That wasn't that much, but when I had 25 customers,
Yeah.
y'all hear me? That I had 25 customers, so I made $100 a month. Every Monday I took it out, they paid me, and I had paper route. And so when the man told me that we had to get 2 new clients so we can go to Magic Mountain, Magic Mountain had just opened in the late 60s and early 70s. So my mother said, you get 2 clients, you can go. So I went next door talking to the white lady, it was a white lady in the 60s. And I said, can you get a subscription just for 1 month? She said, I really don't want the paper. My sister, my daughter's a teacher. She said, I'll take a subscription from you, little fella, for 1 month. So I got lady across the street to get 1 subscription for a month. And then so I was able to go to Magic Mountain. So what did I do? I sold them the concept that I need something. But in Christianity, you telling them that, well, I'm gonna give you your life and it'll be the same. And a lot of people know right from wrong. They know, they just don't know how to get through it. Because the truth don't lie, right? The truth does not lie. So our salt is that we're passing on what we have. And it shouldn't be hard to tell somebody, if you have a favorite pair of shoes, everybody here have one pair of shoes that's a favorite, and they fit real good, or a pair of shorts or trunks or a shirt, you got a certain shirt that's the one, and you put it on and you feel good about it. Well, that's one shirt. Somebody said, what's your favorite shirt? You say, I have a Nike t-shirt with 2 holes in it, right? Because that's my favorite. So now you go tell them that's my favorite shirt. And they go say, I'm getting me a favorite shirt. So what have you done? You spread the information about that shirt, and that person says, if it's good enough for you, it's good enough for me. You follow me? So the whole concept is, so don't get all messed up about being a scholar. Just learn what you have, research what you got, and know you can tell somebody in common language. You're not going there speaking Hebrew or Latin, just talking to the Hebrew. And of course you ain't gonna find nothing no time soon. So you go in there, you just tell the story. So we have to be equipped, but also that empowers us to kind of appreciate it, because when you say something to someone else, it kind of plays back to you. Have you ever told somebody a story about the Lord, and all of a sudden you got a little excited about, like, wow, you got some benefits, huh?
Right.
You know, that's when he said, let your light shine in places where it's dark. But most time we want to shine in places where there's already light, because we want to congregate, and we want to be put together and mesh together with other people like us. But the benefit for Christ is what? So what's the benefit for Christ? Is that if we tell somebody else about him that didn't know him, that's the benefit. Catching the same fish every week ain't doing no good. You still got the same number. Count the fish in your fish aquarium. Go sit down there and fish. Right? And then count them again next week and keep fishing in the same old bowl. What happened? You have the same fish. Now you get fish, but you don't have no growth.
Right.
Unless they grow in the tank, right? Why is that? Because we have not let our light shine among men. We haven't taken any further. So the salt he's saying, I'm looking for some salty individuals that have been touched by him and the Father, and who's been touched and who has the inspiration to do it. And he told them, since y'all over here, and based upon your commitment to follow me. Now their commitment as disciples were not, we're going to do it all right. And they tried to tell him they'll never leave him. And he told Peter, now Peter, hold on now, you don't know. You know, so we have that feeling that we'll never fail until we fail. And when Peter messed up, he kind of, he felt shame. But he knew from that point that he had to grow in himself and be able to show the love of Christ in a different way. Because you can't be in the inner court and not say nothing. If you're a Christian, the woman asked him who he was, he started saying bad words. He made sure he was put out. You follow what I'm saying? Because he wasn't salty as he should have been, because at that point, he didn't have a strong enough belief in himself. And I always say, you can't sell it unless you buy it. Which sounds backwards. You have to buy what you're selling so you can sell it. Then which means you have to believe in this product. You have to believe in him. So we're just talking about the love. So that's why he had the disciples. He always spent a little time with the disciples. He always spent a little time in Bible study. You always spend a little time in prayer. You and your wife, you say you get real tough. You and Noah go in the closet and y'all pray, and things happen, right? That's right. Imagine if y'all stayed in prayer every day. Imagine if you really, really stayed there, that same power that you work on when you have a crisis. Imagine if all of us had that moment we connected with 7 people every day. And we really got in. I know they got prayer lines. They get kind of complicated. You been on a prayer line before? They hang up, call people, hang up, call 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock, phone, hang up. I tried it one time. It was a lot of work. Then people get, I'm back, I'm off and on. So it got kind of not worth it. But the point was, if we ever decided to connect, to empower ourselves, so we can enrich somebody else, it will work. Then all the media stuff, all these campaigns that come out. I mean, look at this, the sex thing. You know, they voted, they passed. When they got a population of people that made the majority, they voted and they passed. Now the Christians say on the other side, that's even with the new proposition that's coming out of Parliament this week. You know, it's gonna do one thing, but it's gonna stop 80 other things. You follow me? But so if you stand in your belief, and the people stand up, and that's the problem with the church. Nobody ever stands up. They see you get beat up, and they say, well, hey, I'm praying for you. No, I need somebody standing with me. If you want to make changes, somebody to stand. Right? And that's always been the fault of the church. It's always been weak during the time when it should have been strong. And then people want to get holy on you and say they're praying. Then they forgot to pray, like when you were in that meeting. And then all of a sudden. So we have to really exert the power that he gave us, and our power has to be displayed. And that's that salt in us that we display that. We're here. We're here. We're going to demand, we're going to stand, not demand, but we're going to stand and we're going to be present. You hear me? Jesus took the disciples, he wanted them to be present. You salty. So now you got to go out, brother. Go into the highways and byways and compel men to come. So what do you say that? I don't have no salt. Well, it ain't going to do no good. Because you've already lost your flavor. You've already lost your stamina. You get me? So salty people are individuals that are actually models. And number 2, that they're actually models of that cast into the restless sea that can only toss what? Refuse and actually whatever. Okay, so now we're looking at B, salt of Christian. In the Bible, the qualities that lead to effective ministry are found in the elements of what? Number 1, spiritual character. So that means that to be salty, that we have to have some kind of spiritual character about ourselves. Some characteristics. What is that? Thou shalt not. The thou shalt not should be in our lifestyle. Right? Anything that is not of Christ, we should try to eliminate that in our life. Right or wrong? And that makes us evaluate that because we want to be salty. We want to make sure that we're salty, so if anything that is not going to be pleasing to the Father shouldn't be in us. Shouldn't be. Everybody say, well, I'm only human. Well, he said he knows that too. He says, keep on tearing it down. Keep on fighting the flesh. Keep on praying. I have a weakness. I used to cuss pretty bad when I was in my 20s. Really, really bad. I had learned how to cuss, but I didn't cuss in my teens because people tease me and say, oh, he never cussed, so I learned how to cuss. You don't do that. I learned not to cuss, and then it was slipping out at the wrong time. Then I had to get delivered from cussing, right? So then that was my challenge. You know, I didn't think it was becoming to use vain words. I didn't think that was becoming. You know, I don't think you have to tell people you're a sack of this and you're no good at this and all that. I mean, I like when I said it as a riddle on the rhyme. It was funny to me, but I never really meant it. But because I was playing with it, it became part of my vocabulary, which was not really a character building at all. So when I found out that you shouldn't curse and you shouldn't joke and gesture, I'm like, oh, I'm really joking now. I mean, I had to quit talking about this boy's mama. You know, the mama joke. You know, when we do that, because we had 2 white children's mamas. They were fat, and we get out, your mama fat. She said when I left her house yesterday, you know, we would laugh and go on. But when somebody else on the outside heard that, they didn't really think that was pleasing. And we all have said things to each other, say, you know, that was funny, but me and Joe talk about it all the time. We have these kind of out-of-tune personalities that will say something to someone that necessarily, we don't mean no harm. It's almost like a chicken dinner or waiting in to say hello. But to someone else hearing that, he said something to a woman that she couldn't sing, but she really sang marvelously. So he had a really nice voice. So he went to her and said, no, you know what, you gotta learn how to sing. And then the person looked at him like he had insulted her, but he really was complimenting her like, girl, you know you sang. But he couldn't get to that part. Because what happened, somebody else intervened and said, you said, oh, that was cold. And have you ever done that where you were making a remark and somebody else came along and made a mess of it? And you were like, no, I didn't mean it that way. So some of that personality has to be altered in some sense of the word, because sometimes it may not be characterability. And then you have to get in the right circle with that. We go tease and play dominoes. Then you have to be with the right crowd. Because some of us play dominoes, we laugh.
Right.
The other ones, they carry their gun.
Yeah.
You know, other ones, they use slang and other stuff. So you have to know, like I know I only plays with his brother on Tuesday, right? So when you do that, he's still his brother. When he gets through, your brother can go to work. So there's nothing wrong with that. But if it became a big circle where you was on the front grass and y'all was out there with beer and hustling with girls dancing around you, you know, you ain't gonna have a problem, and they gonna have a problem, and you gonna have a few problems, right? So when you add to it, it becomes more secular, it becomes more wordy. So again, he told them, if you eat a thing your brother, don't eat it around. Like, you know, it may not be a sin. He was talking about sin. It's not simple to eat this and do that with the sacrifice. It's okay to do it, but if this brother over here sees that it's gonna be a hindrance to them because they're weak, then don't do it around them. Now, he didn't say everything. He was talking about a particular meal that they were talking about eating. So what am I saying? So some of the things we do that's not sinful, if it's gonna hinder somebody, we shouldn't do it. And that's character building. Am I right or wrong? That's character building. Am I right? That's character building. Some of us slip and cuss sometimes and say some things. But if you with a brother that loved you, he ain't finna backslide. He like, man, you better watch your mouth. Or like, he might get in and say, you know what, well, I see you still struggling. But he's not gonna take it away from your character. But if you stand in front of the sinner, and you sitting there talking to him, and you decide to keep it 100, the kids tell me, keep it 100 and tell him all that. Well, I learned something about a sinner. He wants the church to be the church. They say all the time, when I was out there, I played the game. Now I'm in the house, I'm gonna play it right. Even though people struggle with righteousness, the bottom line, some part of you want the truth. Would you agree? You want the truth. Because nobody wants to be unintelligent. I have never seen anybody say, I want to be stupid. I don't. Nobody ever say, I pray God I'll be stupid. No, you pray to God that you can maximize your ability to make good choices, right? And pray God the wisdom of God will walk with you and bless you. You pray that God will lead you and you have enough wisdom to know the difference between a word of wisdom and godly wisdom. So nobody ever prayed to be stupid. You know, so we have to always remember that growth is always important. Yes, sir, brother. Alex.
Yeah, I used to, my kids used to sit around every weekend, and there's another young boy come by, and I would teach him, along with my kids.
Right.
I said, you gotta go to church, you gotta go to Sunday school. Finally, he said, hey, your life is too slow. So, he said, I can't continue to sit and listen because what you're talking about is too slow.
Okay.
He disappeared.
Wow.
He came by my house 2 weeks ago
Maybe 100 years later.
and then grabbed me and hugged me. And I'm looking at him. I said, who are you? He said, you used to sit and talk to me.
Yeah.
I said, when? He said, I just did 25 years. I said, what? He said, I did 25 years. And I come back here to see if you was living in this same house. He said, you haven't changed. She welcomed me with open arms.
Right.
I didn't even know who he was.
But that's the salt touching a piece of meat.
But you see, I touched him a long time ago.
Yeah.
He came
And
back.
not knowing, but you.
No,
didn't
not
know.
knowing that.
Right.
But he did 25 years.
And he remembered.
That's right.
The
He
truth
was
don't lie.
kingpin.
The truth don't lie. If you tell the truth, it would always be there.
And it'll stick with you.
I always say, you ain't got to speak for the truth, he speaks.
And it'll
Speak
stick
out,
with you.
And it goes, when he said bread catch on the water, will go out and come back in a few days.
That's right.
Or he said, heaven and earth pass, but my word will not return void. If you put it out there, it never spoil. That's one thing, when you put the bread out there in people's lives, they may not eat it. But your responsibility, had you known, it still wouldn't, you just gave it to them.
Right.
You can't make anybody do anything.
Right.
Not genuinely. As we say in our class, we teach our children how to say thank you. But they learn how to say thank you before they learn how to really mean it.
Right.
Right? They know how to say excuse me. You say excuse me. They go, excuse me why? I stepped over your feet. So we would say, excuse me, and I didn't care, I just keep moving. I was trying to avoid a whooping. Because I only got a whooping if I was to say, excuse me. So before I learned really what it meant, and from my heart, I practiced it. Now at 58, when I cross your feet, I don't say nothing, I'm just playing, I say excuse me. I say excuse me because now I know what it means. That means you're rude or you cross over someone's feet. Or maybe you bump somebody, right? You say it. Have you ever bumped somebody and they say, excuse me? I do. I can say, excuse me. I don't even look back, excuse me. Then I get hit by the Armenians and the Asians, wildly, they run all over me, don't say nothing. And I've been going, oh my God. But now I know it's a culture. So I didn't hit me, I keep going. I can't talk to all of them. There's a lot of them, about 50 of them, they run together. But the point is that character is built, and then that same character, that salt that's in your character, will spill over to somebody else. They say, you know, I really admired you. I had a lot of people that I admired when I was growing up. You know, didn't you guys have people that you liked? You know, you revered, you looked at them, you said, wow. There was always a couple. God always let two people be in your lives that are couples that are examples of what Christianity look like. You know, you go over there and you would pull from them and you would appreciate, you wouldn't be right together 63 years. And that person is saying, I wonder if he's still alive and still live there. Show up and look different. Of course, that's 25 years. But I thank you for that slow information. Thank you for that slow information. Because that probably kept him alive for 25 years. Because you know why? Bread cast upon the water return in a few days, it won't return forward, right? But that bread don't get back. That bread don't go back. You know, I bread, I refrigerate and go back. I mean, you know, I put mine in the back porch and it get hot. So I learned when I put it in the bread box, it always go fast. And now I put it on top of the bread box so it can breathe. So it lasts a couple more days longer. You follow what I'm saying? You gotta put it out there so we can read and say, and people read it. And so it's okay to be a Christian. I got to say that. It's okay to be a Christian.
Yeah.
Because if we become the majority, then we can run the world. And that was Jesus Christ's whole concept. He put him in the huddle. He told him to go into all the world. He told him, you're salt of the earth. He said, be the light of the world. You're the light of the world. He broke the huddle so they go tell somebody like what I just told you. That's all he said, go do it. Go do what I say, do it, run the ball. But what happens is when we stay in the huddle, then there's a penalty. Because there are lost souls that are around us that suffer because you didn't say it. And then our salt. So it's bigger than what you think it is, but your touch that you have, because you've been touched, you touch somebody else. And I always think, if I can get everybody on my team, then I'm gonna have a strong team. Then I won't have no offense and defense, we all just run one way. That's what Jesus Christ was working on. He was working on everybody going the same way. Because he stopped dying to save the man on the cross, didn't he? Today thou shalt be with me in paradise. He stopped. He's on his way. I'm doing my mission. Hold on, we got one more, Lord. Hold on, got one more. Those churches over. He did it right then and there because he knew what his mission was. So if you know what your mission is, you're salty. And then the character of Christ reproduced in us by the ministry of His Spirit. What does that mean? They can't do it without the Spirit of God. Because I'm looking at Doug, I see Doug with black shirt on, with beige shirt. It's kind of mixed and match. One side is this, one side is that. Sometimes confused. So I'm looking at him going, I wonder why you put that shirt on, that shirt on. Why you? So, but when you're in the Spirit, all I see is the soul. All I see is the individual. And I'm like, you know Jesus? I mean, you know, a lot of times people do that to me, I get kind of offended. You know Jesus? So what I do, I kind of ease in it, I backdoor it. You be in line at Walmart. Oh, this line sure is long. I said, yeah, sure is. I said, well, I can't wait to go to church Sunday. He said, you go to church? Yeah. Get nice facts out here, I like it a lot. And I go on and just create a conversation. Then one thing leads to another, then after a while, then they go back and say, what's your name? And I say, my name. They asked me at work that day, I was talking about church. We got a men's ministry, we got 7 o'clock, we got Bible study, we got Sunday school, we got all that down the street on 53rd. And the never, she said, kept going. And she's come to find out, she's Noah Jones. Her father is the assistant pastor of City of Refuge. And she works in, I guess it's Kobe, I'm her manager. So she was like, you keep talking about church? Well, where is it at? I said, on 53rd Field Road. I said, it's the church. She said, why are you here? Go down. She says, oh yeah, I passed there. I see it over there. She said, oh, that church, yeah, do all that. So the other day she sat on the grass, because we had a friend in the house, she sat down, she said, you sure, what's your role in the church? And I thought I said, I'm the pastor. She said, I do stuff. She said, your conversations about that church. So I was trying to win her and let her know, and then she came back and told me, and I had to know her daddy, and he's assistant pastor, and he's got a good church in Hawthorne, and this fellow's the Bible study teaching all that, and she's just saying, and I knew something about her. Let me tell you why I knew she was Christian. Because she's pregnant. And she stood there, she helped me learn how to work the computer on this program. And I looked over, I said, oh, I said, you got company coming up. But you gotta be careful when you say that people, because she didn't have to be pregnant.
Right.
So I'm like, I just took the test on sexual abuse, and that could be a problem. So I said anyway, I said, you have a company? She said, yeah, but don't nobody know. And I said, oh, okay. I said, well, anybody gonna know it's a business? I know in a few months now, we all gonna know. So I said, but I'm married. So I had to think, like, wait a minute. I didn't think she thought I was hitting on her. But her conviction came out. Because now I know, because her father's a pastor, and she's a Christian, and I'm assuming she got married afterwards. This is my assumption. And her conviction is there. She wants me to know she is a Christian, and I'm married. And that's a good thing. So I was sitting there going, wow. So it does come out. You have, your conviction has to come out. Because where you are is where you are. Now, I could be wrong. She could have got married prior to, but in my spirit, I see her, she's 23 years old, and she's struggling, and not struggling, but she's a nice girl, but she wanted to know that, I'm married. Either she's telling me that most people 23 have babies and ain't married.
Right.
Could be all kind of analogies that go along with that, but the thing was, she was letting me know that she's married. And I'm an upstanding, and my dad's a pastor. You know the little fat guy down there, so. I said, that's your father? Yeah, that's my daddy. So in there. Yeah. And he said, I look like him, and that was it. So now every day is 20 minutes of church. I was church Sunday, what was the Bible study about? And I saw this and that. So then then the other girl, so I gave her a ride to another program, and all of a sudden I get up 99.5. She said, Tony Evans? Girl, I said, I almost jumped up. I said, girl, yeah. She said, you hear that sermon yesterday? Now another one's there. So we got 1 and 8.
Oh, always.
So we're gonna ride over, so we easing over there with her today.
Always.
We're not setting a trap for her. It's just that this is what we do. If you fish, you won't go to your fish shop. I eat at the hamburger stand on 83rd in Vermont. It's called Adu. Best hamburgers with sweet relish. So I took one of the employees over there, and then she took her supervisor over there. And so everybody said, Griff, you going to your spot? I said, well, how do you know about my spot? Well, Dolores took us over there yesterday, so they work the same way when it comes to salt. Right? When you share the goodness of God to people, and then they get the goodness, and they recognize the goodness. I sold her a hamburger. Just the concept, and I said, I'll buy you a hamburger. But then she thought it was so good, she went and told somebody else about this hamburger. Isn't that strange? So now they got 3 new customers. Because the other girl said, bring me one back, and the fries too. I heard they got to bring me a Pepsi. So what am I saying? That one taste that was delicious to me, and they good, y'all. That was delicious to me. I just told her where to go get something good. So that's what Christianity is about, telling people where to get something good. That makes sense to you? We tell them that. We tell them about everything else. So use your leverage, which is keeping people from being lost and giving them knowledge of Christ. And bring it out. You sell houses, we used to. I don't know what you do now, but you've been selling houses since the 60s. And I know you probably know every address, every zip code, every corner over there. I was came out your neighborhood today with no Wilmington. You got a house over there on 107. And I know the Franks and fine with Jupiter. That's all the houses you got over there. And I know I can just, so when you go over there, you can sell a house and talk about the Lord. So it's a blessed house, right? What? It's blessed. Yeah, I'm blessed. And when I sell you a house, you'll be blessed and you're going to be blessed. And I'm going to be a blessing too. Wow. That one thing that means somebody that's free. You follow me? She can get a house to them free, still got to buy it. But she just gave them what she had. They didn't keep her alive. You follow me? So it's character building, also it's done through the Spirit. The Spirit of God. The Spirit of God got to be the one to do it. The Spirit got to be one, because it's not really, you can't really fleshly do it. Because if you look at me with a resistant look, and you don't have a response, then I'm thinking, how do you tell someone, you know what, you got to go ahead and do that? When you know it's wrong and they're having fun doing it. You say, well, you know what, that's not pleasing to God. Please the Lord, right? But the only way I can do that, I have to be in the Spirit. Because what he's entertaining himself with, or what she entertaining herself with, is pleasurable. You know, we lie to say, like we say sin wasn't fun. It was fun. It was costly, but it was fun. Right? It was expensive, sometimes it was free. It was fun, right? So, right, think about it. So, you can't always paint it as being such a terrible thing. That's why our grandkids cuss. Because they mama cuss. And I'm like, what? They cuss? What you doing? They said, Mama said. He told me a little joke, but he was cussing. He thought I was going to laugh. I said, that was not nice. He said, ooh, that was wrong. I told him we had to leave the house in a few minutes. He said, we going to get the AGW out of here quick. I said, what did you say? What the mama told. So I said, you stop talking that with them boys. Because, you know, they run around with tambourine. They professional hypocrites. You talk about they lay hands on you and pray for you, but they cussing. I said, you need to get them right. I said, there's a mom and daddy's trip. And they go, hey, so the point is, you gotta, if you're gonna give it out, you give it out right. And then you gotta follow it with some demonstration, is what I'm saying. The Spirit has you do that. The Spirit has you do that. And whatever you're convicted of, stop doing it.
That's right.
Because you gotta live with you when you get there.
Yeah, buddy.
I have a client I teach a class tomorrow night, and she says she's sick of California and all the preachers she hates. She's sick of hypocrite people in church, you know, she be riding around with her blue rag in her pocket, no red. She's a grip, but she hated about it. But she a preacher, so I don't say nothing that's going on. And she just said that I'm going to Chicago, I might have to finish this class. She said, I'm gonna finish the class, I'm gonna get my certificate. I said, oh. I said, why you going to Chicago? She said, I'm looking for a new life. I said, okay. I said, when you leave, she said, soon as I leave, get my certificate. I said, why you going? I'm looking for a new life. I said, tell me one piece, I'm looking for a new life. I said, guess who will be there when you get there? I said, who? I said, you.
That's right.
And whatever you don't fix, it's gonna meet
It's
you.
gonna stop.
My old pastor said that you can catch the plane to New York, but your sins will catch the bus. They coming. The resistance coming. Unresolved issues will show up.
Right.
You can move into a brand new house and put new furniture in it, live in Winston Hills or Baldwin Hills or live downtown in one of them suites. But guess what? Whoever you are, that's where who will be living in. You can clean that little house, you can clean the big house. There ain't no change. So there has to be some changes when I'm saying. So the spirit part of us allows to change. So Ephesians, or we will look at that, Ephesians 4:12, it says, for the perfecting of the saints, for the work of the ministry, for the edifying of the body of Christ. Now, the edifying, I want to say something about edifying the body of Christ. Edifying the body of Christ is to lift, to enhance, and to get involved and to raise up. How do you do that? You have to have some interaction. Not speculation, but participation. I'm going to edify the body of Christ. I'm going to live, I'm going to bring in that which is going to make this church enhance, make it go, make it grow. Right? We're going to add to it. You edify the body of Christ. Not down it, but you're lifting it up, right? You edify it. You follow me? So you add in what you got. You bring that way in, so you lift, because whatever Brother Ollie needs, that you may have it, and he may bring it, and she might have it with it, and he might be the one to say it. So when we all get together, we begin to edify Christ that's in us as a church. And then we don't take the glory for it, but what we do is that we edify the body of Christ by talking about Christ, and we all begin to go up together. You follow me? So then we begin to edify and lift up Christ, which is in you. I thank God for the Christ that's in you.
That's right.
One guy told me that one time, he said, brother, I'm so excited about how God's going to raise you. I thought that was powerful. He said, how you like that little statement? I said, that was kind of powerful. He said, I can't wait to see what God's going to do when he's through with you. And to me, that was powerful. How many times somebody ever told you that? That sounds really, that was edification, that was edifying. So when they did it, made me kind of like, ooh, okay, let me kind of make sure that I get ready for this new person, this new creature. Old things have passed away. The Lord all things. I'm 58, I'm not struggling, but I'm still struggling. I found the older you get, the meaner you get. I found that out. Then now you think everybody else should be doing what they should be doing when you get older. So I learned that when I was younger. I just worried about me. I just kept falling down, getting up, falling down, getting up. But the older you get, the more you see some things and you really want it to happen. Right? You get frustrated with yourself. You get frustrated with other people. You start saying, how long is it going to take us to do this? I'm working on a sermon found in Deuteronomy chapter 1, verse 6. And you know what he says? You've been on this mountain long enough. It's time to move. Moses was talking to the Israelites who had spent 1 year on Mount Horeb, and it was time for them to go and conquer Canaan land. He said, you've been on the mountain too long. He said, I gave you a chance to rest. I gave you a chance to work on your political power. I gave you a chance to go in and get your families together. He said, but you know what? Now it's time to go. So Christianity has to have a movement. It has to have some movement too. It has to have application. It has to have some type of light in it. That's why he said we are the light of the world. So we practice our light switching in the church. We practice hitting our switch. We practice that. We practice hitting our switch. We practice hitting our switch. We practice that by what? By hitting the word. By hanging with people that can really give us, glean from other people. When I see you do well, I do well. Because you're my brother. When I see you do well, I do well. I feel like everybody put their chest out when everybody do well. Because I know when one fall, everybody fall. That's how I was taught. When you're on the team, you're on the team. You're on the team. And once we get that concept that we're all on the same team, then we'll get along and we'll work against the enemy together. But sometimes the enemy is in me.
Yeah.
Sometimes the enemy is there. Once we get to fight that joker and know that we gonna get ourselves together, then I don't have no problem helping him. I don't have no problem sharing with you. You know, I always say that you work hard being kind to other people. Kindness, I tell you, that's one of my greatest things that I think people don't have to work hard to do. But people work hard not to be kind to you. It's hard for me not to be kind. You know why? Because I don't want to be angry. I don't want to be angry. Some people want to be angry. I don't. I don't want to be angry because I want to be angry to sin not, right? I don't want to get it because it does a lot of hateful things. It does a lot of ugly active things, and it does some things that hurt people. So when you work on being kind, when the Spirit is in you, then you want to edify the body of Christ. I want to have a parking space. What's parking space we want to do? You've never seen me argue about a parking space. For other people, you argue for somebody else. You know, somebody go park there and let them have that. But you know, you can have it. Because it is not for a crown. It's only because sometimes it's just right to let somebody else go. Sometimes it's just right? It's just right. It's just right to be right. So how do you do that? You do it by edifying other people. So if you learn how to edify the body of Christ by lifting it up in ministry and edifying the body of Christ. The body of Christ are human beings. That's what we forget. The body of Christ are human beings. Right? So when I say you done walk marvelous, you did well. The body of Christ is evident by your actions, by our characters, and by our characteristics, and by our demeanor, and by us getting better. That's edifying. That's going on because Christ is going to be exuding, coming out of our lives. When we hear people that you get a man 10, 25 years later, the bread don't spoil. Bread don't spoil. So over Galatians 5:1-3, but the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, long suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith, etc. So those are the fruit of the Spirit. We've been over there for 300 years, and we still got to keep practicing. Because if we got to get all 9 of them, right? The fruit of the Spirit, yes. He didn't say if you want it. He said, but this is the fruit of the Spirit. The fruit of the Spirit. So the Spirit has some fruit. So if you're Spirit-filled, not just but you have some fruit on your tree. Some fruit on your spirit. Which was what? So now it shows love. It shows joy. It has peace. So some of this is for you too. So, you know, when you give, if you're peaceful, then you'll give out peace. Right? Because you tell somebody, you know what, Miss Owen, you'll be all right. When you have love, you have love. Love covers a multitude of sins. You heard that verse? It covers. It does. Because love say, oh, I see you messed up today, but you know what, don't worry about it. You know, because Joe's good for that. I would say negative things in my out loud around him. He would say, don't believe what you just told yourself. I said, what? He said, don't believe what you just told yourself. That ain't true. And I said, well, I like that one too. Because now when you can correct yourself, you can correct yourself when you find yourself, because sometimes you get karma. Because sometimes the world get on your nerve. And sometimes you get on your nerve. Like I don't like this car. When I get on the freeway, I always say this car is so uncomfortable. And I see, I've been going on the freeway, I adjusted 15 times. Then I finally go like, this is a long drive, so it makes no sense. I come buy a house down here, it's gonna make all this gas and about out. Now I'm complaining, so I see somebody on the bus stop.
That's right.
And I go,
Thank you.
get out and walk then.
Right.
Get out. So you have to kind of have a reality check. You have to be grounded. You can't go back there. Your big old truck loud and big and tall. But boy, that can haul out of the refrigerator, the stove, and wash it in the drive. Right, that's right. Not pushing somebody else. I got a car right now. I got to push out of my house. The Toyota never ragged the car at my place, and I didn't even move it. I can't even push it. It's this big. And I said, I have trouble. I was yanking and snapped out the middle of the street. Right? So what we think sometimes is nothing, it's really a miracle blessing us somebody. I run this homeless program. These individuals are 18 years old with no income. One girl said she lived downtown for a year. And I want to interview her and ask her what she seen. She said, why you want to do that? I said, I want to know what you saw. I just want to know what really goes on at night. She said, really, it's a different culture, different world. I said, how big was the rat? She said, man, let me tell you, them rats are big. They don't bite you. I said, they don't bite? She said, no, you ain't got no food. You looking for food, they are too. I said, really? And she said, she's 21, she started asking me problems. I've had some issues in my life, and she's 21 years old. So yesterday she went in labor, she's pregnant. So guess who was there with her? I said, Margaret, you're gonna have a baby. She said, don't call the ambulance, I'm not going. So I stayed there with her and took her to the hospital. I get to work this morning, we think we have the baby. She called me, told me, can you pick me up? False alarm. Well, what do? You pick her back up. But here's the bad part about it. She got mama, daddy, sister, mother, cousin, no, mother died. So I said, so won't you call some of your family if you need to have a safety plan? Because we get off at 6:30 and you need to have someone to take you to the hospital. If you can't stay in here and don't go upstairs, we'll go downstairs. Here's my point. She said, I ain't got nobody. I said, you have a grandmother named Jean. I said, but she been in the house. So I don't understand. But because there's a disconnection there, so our staff now has adopted her that we want to take care of her. So we're putting salt in her. You know what she said yesterday? I can't stop cussing. Because everybody's cussing with her. I mean, every other word is an MF. And she do it laughing. She said, you offended? I said, but you sound like a trash truck when you open your mouth. I said, well, she said, I got that from the streets, but that's my offense. Yeah. So what do? So now she's working on her own personal grooming because she recognized that she's the only one that's using this foul language in the circle. And the other girls are coming down talking to her like, what? What? If she do, she go, oh, we got working on cussing. She's not mad at you because she's going to keep me from the hospital. I said, I am not the father, you know.